Ethan Wright is going all in on YouTube. For the past 8 months, he's been living in Japan and documenting his life. I talked with him about the future of the creator economy, how being a content creator means becoming an entrepreneur, and how to start making YouTube videos. When did you first start? And what was it like at the beginning of your YouTube journey?
So I first started on the first day of college. Since I was in high school, all I would watch were college vlogs. I was a big fan of this guy named Elliot Choi, and all in high school I would watch his vlogs of him being in Vanderbilt, making all these videos. And I always knew that when I got to college, I wanted to do the same thing because I just thought it was the coolest thing ever. So literally the first day of college, I was filming. I did a move-in video, moving into Duke University. And I made sure to document every single little thing. And I was so excited to become a YouTuber that I stayed up all night of that move-in and edited the video, and I posted it by the next day. So I kind of was all in since the beginning. I always knew that I just wanted to do YouTube and go far from that and go all in on that. And since then, you know, I'm a junior now, and I've made over 80 videos, and with each video I've been getting better and better and better, now to the point where, you know, I'm like 100 times better than when I first made my first move-in video.
Okay, yeah. So what are some of the things that you've learned then? Like, what's something that was maybe like a mistake that you did in those first couple of videos that you don't make now? Or like, what's one thing that you think people can improve about their videos that can sort of take it to that next level?
It would probably be just how fast I wanted things, right? Like, as a beginning creator, you know, you see all these YouTubers with millions of subscribers, and you're like, all right, bet, I'm gonna make one video, I'm gonna get to 1 million subscribers, we're gonna party, yay, everything's great. And, you know, that can happen, but those people are the exceptions, not the standard, right? So when I was first starting out, I would make my videos and I'd, you know, work pretty hard on them, and then they wouldn't get any views. And I was like, what's going on? Where are the views? And I'd get sad, and then I'd, you know, have trouble being motivated. And it's because, you know, I wanted things really quickly. I wanted that fast solution. I wanted all the stuff quickly, instead of learning how to fall in love with the craft, to fall in love with making videos and just that whole process, and trying to just get better just a little bit with every single video. That's where I am now. Like, I focus so much less on the views and all of the outside stuff that I really can't control at the end of the day. Part of it is luck with the YouTube algorithm. Most of it is skill. But, you know, what I can control is my ability to make each video as good as I can make it. And now, when I'm making every video, literally my only goal is just to make a video that was better than the last. Like, improve this video some way compared to the last one. And that has made all the difference in, you know, my fulfillment when I'm making videos and in my overall career. I've seen the views go up since I started to make this change.
I think that's solid advice, because I think, you know, you can be really preoccupied with sort of wanting that really fast instant feedback, or like that dopamine hit, you know? And it's nice when you do release a video and like you do get that, like, you know, oh, it gets picked up by the algorithm, and you get to, you see comments from people. Like, that is really exciting, but I think it is important for people who are starting out to not like, maybe like aim for that as like the goal. Like, I think, like you're saying, the goal should be just getting a little bit better with each video, as opposed to like depending on these like external motivators that may or may not like be consistent with like what you actually want, like what your long-term goals are.
Just to add to that, actually, you know, what you're saying sparked there's when you get a viral video, you know, that can be a really good thing. You know, lots of views, subscribers, maybe monetary value, money as well. But there's also a curse to a viral video, right? And especially when you become viral so quickly at the start of your career. Because when you have something that works and people are telling you that it works, you start to get distracted from the process, away from the process, and then you start to get distracted by all the views and the people and all the outside noise. And especially when you're first starting out, if you don't know who you are as a creator, what your voice is, having all this distraction can be very hard to get through. And you see it a lot with like TikTok creators, Instagram creators. They go viral with one video, and then their entire channel or whatever is just that video repeated. And because they don't know what else to do, this is the video that's working. Everyone's saying it's working, so they just know, all they know how to do is just make that same video and not innovate, not experiment, not find their voice. Just follow what everyone else is saying instead of what they want to do. And being able to get over that niche that a viral video can put you in is a very difficult thing for many creators to get past.
Yeah, no, that's super interesting, because I've also seen that kind of trend happen, and I think it makes sense, right? Because like you don't want to fix what isn't broke. You kind of want to just like, if you have something that works for you, just keep on doing that. And that's something that I've even done like with some of my videos. If I've noticed that like a video gets a lot of views, I'm like, okay, I'm gonna make more videos like that. And I think that can be like good feedback to get and like good information to get. But I feel like the more important thing is like actually understanding like who you're making videos for and what impact you want to have on them, and sort of like having clarity around like who you want in your audience, like long term. And like a video might go viral, but it could be like the exact wrong type of audience for you. Like I had a video go viral, like not like super viral, right? But like it got picked up by people who were like Disney haters. Like there's like a niche of like, Disney haters on YouTube. And when I was like reverse engineering like the thumbnails and the titles for like one of my videos, like I took inspiration from this one video that was like part of that niche. And then all of a sudden, like all these people from that side of YouTube started coming to my comments and were like, I was like, some of them were cool, but like also I knew that some of them just like weren't the type of people that I wanted in my audience. Like in my audience, I want people who like are passionate and have like insightful things to say, and not necessarily like in a just want to spew out like what they are angry about, right? And so it's like video does well, but that might not be good from the long-term goals that I have. So for yourself, like what do you think your like long-term goals are with like who you want in your audience, and what you see like you doing with your channel for the future?
That's a great question. So first of all, I want to be a YouTuber. That's my dream, to make a living from YouTube. And I'm working very hard every day to make that a reality. And, I've been doing this for over 3 years now, and I've had a whole journey with how I want my YouTube career to look like. Because, I had no idea in the beginning, like, how to make good videos or even how I wanted my career to look like. But, throughout this whole many-year process, I've been able to learn what I want, try things, see what I like, see what I don't like. And I've realized that probably the most important thing for me in my YouTube career is that I'm doing something sustainable and something that I love doing. There's a difference between doing something that you love doing and following trends, right? And definitely I can say in the beginning of my career, I was just doing a lot of trend following, which is logical, because I didn't even have my voice on YouTube. I didn't know what kind of videos I made. So I just copied other videos that I was inspired by, right? But somewhere along the line, as I kept taking inspiration from other videos, I started to take from many different places. And the more I took from, the more I created this unique combination that only I could make. And I've much more recently really been able to find my voice, especially currently I'm studying abroad in Japan. So I spent this whole year away from my home of America in Japan, and that's been a beautiful journey in itself. I've been studying here, but I've been really grinding videos out here, and I've been able to find this to make this very unique voice in myself, which I'm very happy about. And now I've really developed the confidence to make my own types of videos instead of following other trends. So something similar to you is I also want to have an audience that isn't just there to, spew conflict or controversy, right? Ideally, I would love to impact or inspire my audience in some little way, right? So because of that, when I'm making my videos, I make it a little bit slower than maybe they'd normally be in the highly optimized YouTube world, right? Mm-hmm. I try to add a message in my videos. I try to just make people's days a little bit better by watching one of my videos. And I do this all while still being me, just by being my authentic self. And, you know, all of this combines into what I see as a very sustainable career for me that I can do for many years and enjoy for the entire time.
Yeah, no, I think it's super important to be sustainable, because like if you make a ton of videos and go viral but then burn out and never want to do it again, it's like that also doesn't achieve your long-term goals. But yeah, for yourself, like, so I've seen that some of your videos are like a lot of them, like the more recent ones in Japan, or I guess, would you characterize it as like vlog style or like day in the life style, like you're documenting your life? Or like, I guess, how do you think about like niche? Do you think about niche? How do you sort of like do research on YouTube? How do you figure out like what kind of video you want to make? Like, how do you come up with like your next video idea?
Yeah, no, that's a great question. They are definitely, I would definitely categorize them more as vlog lifestyle videos, because currently my niche is just the fact that I live in Japan, right? Because there's so many people that love Japan and would love to live here or visit here. And so kind of my role at the moment is to just showcase how life here is, especially life as a student, for all those people that want to study abroad or go to college in Japan. So I'm very intentional about making sure my videos satisfy those people in that way, and showcasing all of Japan, and basically I want people to imagine themselves where I am. Like, they can see everything I see and just really truly experience Japan as I'm experiencing it. And that is, you know, a very specific niche of people that want to come to Japan. How I think about making videos or planning videos, I have become also much more intentional in this process as well. I used to be making videos, I'd make a video and then I didn't even know what my next video would be. I would just be like, by the week I would just like, okay, I'm gonna make this, I'm gonna make that. And it was definitely a tough thing to sustain. I wasn't very consistent weekly wise. But, you know, starting in January, in this past January, I really honed it down. I, you know, spent a lot of time just brainstorming ideas, just planning what types of videos I could make in Japan and what people would find interesting. The reason I was able to make this plan was, you know, I learn a lot from other creators. So someone I really look up to is obviously Mr. Beast. You know, he's about to be the biggest creator in the world. And he's talking about it. His biggest piece of advice is the idea is the most important part of the video. The idea and the thumbnail. That basically sets the ceiling of your video, right? So you could have the most amazing video, the execution's amazing, but if the idea is bad, the ceiling to that video is going to be very low and you're not going to get a lot of views. On the other side, if you have an amazing idea, a viral type of idea, and you like execute it so-so, it's going to get way more views than the other side, because the idea is that good. People are just going to want to click on the video, want to see what happened. So I took that and I was like, okay, I need to spend time brainstorming, just making ideas. And once I was able to do that, I saw an increase in my views and in people liking my videos. You know, I was like, okay, how can I best help people that want to see Japan? And I was like, okay, I can talk about, you know, why I studied abroad, my experience studying abroad. You know, I could talk about my experience learning Japanese and that whole experience. And, you know, once I just sat down and really realized like what people want from me, what kinds of videos would be the best, I was really able to make some awesome stuff, and my audience really resonated with all of that.
I think the idea is like the 20% that controls 80% of the outcome.
Yep.
And I think that's probably the thing that I'd imagine most people, if you're like out there thinking about starting a YouTube channel, or maybe you are like you have a YouTube channel and you want to grow it. I think like yes, like focusing more on the idea, I think is such solid advice because it is like you're saying, like Mr. Beast says, like a lot of the top YouTubers say, it is the thing that like if no one wants to click on your video, no one's gonna watch it, and so it doesn't matter how well it's edited or how well it's told. If there's no one out there who is gonna find value from it, then by that definition, it's just not as useful, right?
Yeah.
But it's tricky because like I think sometimes you have to balance that with the type of stuff that you want to make, and it's like you have to find like that compromise between the stuff that you enjoy, the stuff that like you want to share, and then the stuff that resonates with people, the stuff that actually people want to watch.
Yeah.
So it's all
exactly.
Yeah, it's delicate.
Yeah, I was
Yeah.
gonna say too, going back to Elliot Choi, who was my inspiration, I actually ended up talking with him, which is the craziest
that's awesome.
thing.
Yeah.
And he gave me some great advice. A lot of it was what you were saying actually, with there is a balance between making content that you want to make and then making content that you know is going to do well, making content that is like a big idea. And especially for creators that want to have a sustained career, his advice was very helpful to me. He looks at it very sustainably. Like not every video that he makes, he's trying to go viral. Instead, he'll make like one big idea type video, right? That he knows is going to bring a new audience. That's a big funnel to his stuff. After that, he makes the videos that he wants to make that are slower paced. The ideas aren't so viral, but they're reflective of him and his character and what he wants the channel to be. And he says those videos are the ones that, keep new subscribers, that build a loyal fan base, right? Because the viral video is going to bring people, but most of them are not going to stay, right? But the videos more authentic to yourself, for him, those are the videos that really built his audience. And now, Elliot Choi, he has like over 1 million subscribers, and he's at the point now where he doesn't have to post weekly to get views, right? He'll post like every few months when he is inspired, and every video will get over 200,000 views because he's been building that loyal audience that isn't just there for the viral video.
Yeah, no, that's a really great point because, if you're just optimizing for virality, then it's going to be hard to actually build a lot of trust, because those often are like two different kinds of videos. But yeah, I think that's honestly one of the reasons why I love YouTube so much, and I am so like passionate about YouTube, and I see YouTube as a strong platform, even compared to like Instagram or TikTok, or any other, Twitch or any other platform really, just because of that like trust that you can build with your audience. Maybe it's just because of the amount of time that they're sitting with you, like they're spending sometimes hours like total like watching your videos, whereas someone who's popular on TikTok, you might just see them like once a day for 30 seconds. And I think like that's why I'm a bit bullish on YouTube, and I think like for people who want to like start posting content, I would highly recommend like YouTube being that pillar. And then if you want to do other stuff later on, it's easy to sort of make a lot of content for other platforms just from what you've already done on YouTube.
Yeah, I'm really glad that you say that because I totally agree. I'm very bullish on YouTube. I think that this is the platform. It's just going to get bigger every single year. YouTube is where you go when you want to learn information, when you want to see your favorite creators. You just have such a lasting connection with YouTube. As opposed to TikTok and Instagram, I have so many thoughts on all of this because, short form has just been on the rise these past few years, right? Because it's like the most optimal thing to us as humans, right? It's like that quick dopamine effect, and we scroll and another dopamine effect, and it's just endless doom scrolling, right? But the thing for creators on Instagram and TikTok, as you said, they don't build a lasting community. because as quickly as a video can go viral and people can flock to your channel, those same people will leave because they're just going to go to the next viral thing, right? Because they're not there to really make a connection. They're just there to pass the time while they're waiting in line or, you know, having a moment of boredom. Whereas opposed to YouTube, you know, you go to YouTube intentionally. A lot of times for me, I go to learn or maybe to be entertained, right? I'm very intentional with that. And again, as you said, like the time you spend with YouTubers is exponentially larger than the time you spend with your Instagram creators or your TikTok creators. You know, I made a TikTok, I made an Instagram reel, it got a few thousand views, and the watch hours were like, I don't know, 20 watch hours, which is like 20 hours have been watched by people all around the world, which is pretty cool, I thought at the time. And then I was like, okay, what are my YouTube watch hours? Like, I never really looked at that. And then I, you know, just glanced at it, and it was like 1,000 for just one random video, right? Because just, it's like a 10-minute video compared to a 50-second clip. You're just exponentially gonna spend much more time with the creator. And one of the things I've realized the most is that I feel like the time you spend with someone is maybe the most important thing to building a strong relationship, right? So, you know, the less time you spend, you might be, you know, you might spend some time with someone and they'll go viral, but it's just a quick moment that you'll spend with them, and you're gonna leave them just as soon as you came to them, right? Whereas YouTube, again, it's so much longer. Same thing with Twitch streamers. I don't know if you see like people like carusettafilms, Speed. So many of these streamers have the most loyal fan base in the world.
Yeah.
In the world. It's crazy. But it's because these fans are spending hours of their life every single day with these streamers, right? To the point where they're interacting with this streamer much more than their own family. And it's because of that time that they spend. So yeah, YouTube is definitely, you know, just gonna become more and more popular, especially as people seek for more and more connection with others.
Yeah, some of these other platforms, I'm honestly like, I don't know about the future of, well, I mean, TikTok's the one that's most up in the air right now just because of legal reasons, right? Like,
Yeah.
we could potentially see a situation where TikTok is no longer able to update itself, maybe no longer served to the US. Maybe that'll get figured out, who knows? They have lots of lawyers, so I'm sure they're working very hard on trying to find a legal way to stay in the US.
Right.
But, you know, that's still up in the air. And then Instagram, like, I feel like people don't like the experience of scrolling on their phone. I at least don't, right? Like, occasionally I'll enjoy it, but it's something that, like, I think most people are, like, conscious of the fact that they need to limit, like, their screen time and their phone time. And just, like, they don't want to be, like, doom scrolling, you know, for hours, right? But I see YouTube as something that honestly, like, replaces, like, what television used to be in some ways, which is, like, I guess that, like, that other pillar of entertainment that you go to. And so, yeah, maybe we can shift our discussion more towards this creator economy that is being created before our eyes. You know, Goldman Sachs says that in the next 3 years, it's going to double in size to $500 billion, I think, is their estimate for the creator economy. And so for me, right, and for you, like, as creators, that's super exciting because it just means businesses are finally starting to realize, like, just how powerful online content is. And it means that people always talk about YouTube, other platforms as being saturated, but I genuinely don't think that's the case. I think 5 years ago, people were calling it saturated. And 5 years from now, people are also going to be calling it saturated, but it was less saturated 5 years ago, and it's more saturated. It's going to be more saturated 5 years from now. So I don't know. I think if there is any time to start posting content, it's as soon as you can. But yeah, what do you think what do you think the future holds for all these online platforms? And do you think like traditional forms of entertainment, like films, TV shows, even like streaming services, right? Like, do you see YouTube and these other platforms as like out competing them? Like, how do you think this is all going to shake out?
Yeah, no, that's a great question. And I think that you're already seeing it, right? You There is a lot of traditional, everyone is going to YouTube. There's TV, traditional Hollywood actors. Everyone is already going to YouTube. There was this one example with, I'm sure you know, Wesley Wang. And
Yeah,
he
actually,
made the,
the last video I just finished editing it. I just scheduled it. It's coming out tomorrow. But yeah, no, go on.
Exactly, yeah. This guy, he made this short film about his high school experience. He posted it on YouTube. It went viral, and now it's becoming and now he is making it into a movie with one of the biggest Hollywood production studios in the world because of YouTube. And he made this short film, and before he posted it on YouTube, he went to all of these production studios trying to get them to make his movie. And none of them wanted to make it because they just didn't see the potential. Then he posts on YouTube, it gets over 5 million views, and then everyone's coming back to him, knocking on their door because they see the power of YouTube. They see how easy it is to, make a name for yourself, and they see how much people love his video, and using all of that platform that he gained, he's able to get a very nice deal, and he's going to make an amazing movie. And that's because of YouTube. And you're just seeing that across the board. He's not the only one that's using YouTube to, propel himself into the movie industry, into TV shows, etc. YouTube is the biggest streaming platform. It's beating Twitch. It's beating Kick, I guess. It's the biggest streaming platform. It's where most people spend their time, not streaming platforms, not TV. I can't remember the last time I turned on the TV to watch a TV channel. I have not done that for years. I go to YouTube, as does everyone else. That's where all of our time is spent. So of course, that's where you're going to see the biggest growth, because that's where the majority of people are spending their time. And as you said, the Hollywood industry, all the big industries are finally catching up to this. They're finally understanding the power of YouTube, of content creators. And that's why, as you said, content creation is just going to double the economy in the next few years. And you're already seeing it with all of these content creators starting businesses, right? Not only is Hollywood being shaken up, but like every business with a big content creator is being just demolished. My most favorite example is Mr. Beast and his chocolate company, Feastables. They are taking on Hershey, they're taking on all these like companies that have been established for 100 years, right? And they're just crushing them because they have the power of just the biggest community in the world, of the strongest connections in the world. Their marketing budget is zero, and they're just able to hone in on making the best chocolate possible. And they already know people are gonna come buy it because they already have that connection with the audience, And that's the new way of business, thanks to content creation, which is you already have your audience. And if you're able to make a good product, your audience is going to buy it. They're going to support you because they love you and they love the product. And most companies are still stuck in the past where it's like you have to pay millions of dollars to market on a billboard or a TV commercial. But nowadays, no one is watching TV commercials. No one's looking at newspapers, right? The new way to do this, the way we're doing it now, is YouTube, is content creators, is our favorite creators, and connecting with what they're doing.
Yeah, no, I think the Mr. Beast example is the perfect example because, biggest YouTuber in the world, not including T-Series, I guess. He's still like, just by the end of 2024, we'll see.
No, literally like a week from now. He's only a million away.
Oh, I didn't notice it was that soon. Okay, so yeah.
Away.
A million away. Probably by the time I'll finish editing this, he'll have passed it.
Yeah, probably actually.
Yeah, but no, I think it's super interesting to think about how this is going to impact businesses because I mean that's what I do like in my day job is like marketing for like a B2B company, and so like what I'm doing there is making organic content. So it is like not yet what a lot of other businesses are doing. I think it's what a lot of businesses are going to be like doing soon, which is just making organic content, having a digital presence, having a way to put your stuff out there and make it be known. Um, but I think Mr. Beast with like, I think the biggest reason why he launched Feastables was because he just wasn't like all the biggest companies in the world weren't able to consistently afford his time, right? Like I think that's one of the things that he was running into is that he's getting to the point where his audience is so big, his reach is so big, he's getting hundreds of millions of people in each of his videos. Like each of his videos has the same reach as like a Super Bowl, right?
Yeah.
And so, accordingly, it makes sense to charge like, there's like he would need like the value that he's creating and in promoting a product is insane. So it makes sense to charge like potentially hundreds of millions of dollars, right? For certain brand deals, certain certain things that you're selling. But I think like he was smart in that instead of just doing that endlessly, he creates a product that he owns entirely, and that now he is the person that's benefiting from all of it, right? And it's not something that now he like hurts his brand credibility by plugging in another product and then it turns out to not be good and he has no control over that. Now he has complete control and autonomy over his own product.
Yeah, exactly.
So yeah, I think like a lot of creators are going to start like turning their operations into businesses, or the other way around. A lot of business owners, if they want to compete in this digital world, are going to start to become creators, and the businesses that don't do that are going to be a bit left behind, I feel. And then at the same time, creators who just rely on having an online presence without necessarily selling any other services are also going to be a bit left behind. So yeah, I made a video about, speaking of Mr. Beast, I made a video about the Beast games, and I'll link it in the description in case any of you guys are interested in seeing it. But I think that that's the moment when YouTube is going to flip the switch, right? Because I think for years now, when it comes to social media, when it comes to sort of these new technologies, there's still a ton of skepticism from people, I feel. Like I think people like you and me, like Gen Z, millennial, younger generations, like we understand how powerful it is just because we grew up with it. And so like we see what the future is going to look like. I think more broadly, like if you sort of zoom out and take like a overarching look at maybe like the entire United States and like what everyone thinks, I think YouTube has yet to sort of reach that tipping point where it is like how TV used to be, where it was just a pillar, right? Like TV used to be like the most trusted source, right? Like that was just where you got your news, where you got like what was happening in the world, where you got your entertainment, where you got soap operas, just anything that you wanted, you got it from TV. And I think that this year with Beast Games, with Mr. Beast, like with his surge in popularity, I don't think he's like going to just stop this year, right? Like
No.
I think his growth is like just going to continue to increase, which is a bit unfathomable because at that point he would probably be like, if he continues on like his growth trajectory that he's been on for the past like 2 years, like he will like pretty soon be maybe the most famous person to have like ever existed. I don't know if that's possible, but like he will be reaching more people on a more consistent basis than anybody else in human history, right?
He's aiming
which
for
is a bit
billion.
unfathomable.
Billion subscribers.
Yeah, I mean, a billion subscribers.
He's
I
aiming
think,
for it. If you think about
Yeah.
it like 10 years in the long run, it's very possible.
I think which is it's absurd when you just think about like how many people there are in the world. I wonder like if he'll get to 2 billion. We'll see. Like long term. I don't know. We'll see. But I do think that like when the Beast Games gets launched this year, which I think they're aiming for the end of 2024 or early next year, that'll be the thing that sort of, I think people will no longer think of YouTube as like oh, this is like where people go to watch like content for kids, or like how where you go to like fix your sink. They're gonna
Right.
see it as like, oh, this is like the place where you see content. Like this is the dominant. You said it's the dominant streaming service. It beat out Netflix last year in terms of like just eyeballs. Uh, I think going forward is just going to be the dominant platform.
Right. Yeah, no, and you're exactly right. Like Mr. Beast himself said in a recent podcast that even himself and how big he is, being almost the biggest creator in the world, he's still facing a lot of conflict with the higher ups or the people in Hollywood about him making content, about the negative perception of him because he's a YouTuber, right? They just don't take him as seriously. And this is coming from the biggest creator in the world, right? And he's still going through this problem of not being taken seriously. And it's because, you know, a lot of these people in Hollywood or just business in general are above the age of 40, right? They haven't grown up with YouTube as you said, all the Gen Z, all the younger people have. So they don't really understand just the power, right? And you know, Beast himself, Jimmy himself, he said that he's at the front door of this fight, that he's really intent on spearheading the YouTubers' just content creation through, right? That was something he mentioned in the podcast, how he knows that whatever happens with this TV series on Amazon Prime is going to dictate content creation for years to come, right? So if he absolutely kills it, that's going to prove to everyone that content creators aren't just good at social media, right? They know how to tell good stories. They know how to make compelling videos, right? They're real creators, we've been trying to tell these people for years. And then he also knows that, like, yeah, if it doesn't do well for some crazy reason, which is not going to, because he's amazing, then yeah, all the negative, all the haters would say like, yeah, look at Mr. Beast. Even he wasn't able to do it. So that's gonna just hurt the content creators. So Mr. Beast is very, very intent, and he knows the power of this game show and what it's gonna be. And just to speak to the game show a little bit more, I've heard the craziest things from him. And this podcast literally came out like a few days ago, and he's talking about Beast Games, and he's saying how it's going to be the biggest game show in the history, right? So it's going to have 5,000 contestants. That's the most contestants ever. The prize money is $5 million. That's the most prize money that's ever been in a game show ever. And he's talking about how every single video, I think it's going to be like maybe 10 videos, but every single video, if the biggest video, which is his Squid Game video, is like here, every single video on the Amazon Prime show is going to be like here. He's going to take it to the next level because Amazon, you know, that whole deal is like $100 million deal. And he's just putting all that money back into these videos to make it the best series in the world. So on the podcast, he was talking about like, there's going to be private islands. He might make his own city. He can literally do anything. And I'm so excited to see what it's going to be about.
Yeah, no, I think it's going to be fascinating. I actually, you know, before this year, I actually didn't really have an idea who Mr. Beast was. I'm not going to lie.
Really?
I just sort of not been on that side of YouTube. I think the last I heard about Mr. Beast, I watched like Penguin Zero, like Charlie on YouTube. And so he's like a YouTuber who talks about like other YouTubers. And he talked about Mr. Beast like way back when in like
That's how you
2013,
found out
I
about
think.
him?
And that was my perception of him. And so I was like, oh, he's that guy who like gives money away, and that's like, you know, what his videos are about. And then like he sort of just been in the background, but building an empire, you know. So let's talk about let's shift the topic a bit and talk about entrepreneurship, right? Because I think that's something that is central to the creator economy. Is you know, everyone wanting, like when people say they want to be a YouTuber, you know, like maybe kids who are growing up and they're like, they see this as like a career path for themselves. Really what that means is like they want to be an entrepreneur. They want to be in business for themselves. So for you as an entrepreneur, someone who's built a business, and now is building another business with YouTube. Talk to me about like your entrepreneurial journey. Like what sort of made you realize that you wanted to be in business for yourself, and where do you see that going for you in the future?
Yeah. So yeah, just as context for you guys, I used to run a lawn mowing business. I had that for over 4 years, and I grew that to 10 employees, to a couple hundred clients. And it was a very meaningful part of my life before I started college at Duke. And that taught me a lot about business, right? So much. It was just the best education I could have had in business. And, you know, one of the things it taught me was that I want to build businesses. I love building businesses. I love, creating something and just working, having all my effort just be put on something that is reflective of me, kind of creating my own legacy. I love all of that. And I think that is something that I've just always had in myself. Since I was young, I was, doing lemonade stands. I was knocking on people's doors. I had this scheme to clean people's car wheels. So like the rims of their wheels, like the gray rims. I had like this cleaner to make them all shiny, and I would knock on people's doors asking to clean their wheels, because that's like even more genius than cleaning their car, right? No one said yes, but I've always had kind of maybe that entrepreneurial nature to just put myself out there and build stuff. So, YouTube for me is the modern day entrepreneurship. And that's another reason why I'm here on YouTube. I want to start more businesses in the future. It's my first love, building businesses. But the way I see it is that, yes, I could try to build a business straight from the ground up, make the product, and then start marketing it. Or I could find an audience. I could build an audience and then make an amazing product that markets towards that audience. And that's kind of what I decided to do. And I'm very glad that I decided to do that, because I really feel like that's where the future is heading. You see that again with Feastables, you see that with Prime, with Logan Paul, you see that with Emma Chamberlain's coffee, that if you're able to have an audience and make a good product alongside that, what you can do is insane, right? And the thing, though, is, YouTube is entrepreneurship. There is a lot of business in YouTube if you want to do well. And a lot of creators maybe aren't so ready for that, right? Because it's two different things, just making good videos and then running a business. So there definitely is a big learning curve to being a good entrepreneur, because you have to embrace the entrepreneurship parts to really be good at it. You have to learn alongside doing your YouTube. So it will be interesting to see how the future creators handle juggling both things, YouTube and entrepreneurship. But it definitely is where the world is heading.
Yeah, no, I think that's one good advice, because I think for a lot of YouTubers, for a lot of content creators out there, like, it can feel scary to jump into that business side of it. But I think that's absolutely essential if you want to create something for yourself that's long lasting. And then I think what you said when we had our first conversation, you talked to me about how you want to develop an audience first and then a product or service later on. That actually shifted how I'm thinking about like what I want to do, because I had been thinking about, okay, I want to build this business, and then it was separate from what I was doing on YouTube, right? And I realized like that's kind of, it's hard because I'm doing these things and they're going in different directions. Like it's not necessarily like serving each other. And so now like what I'm shifting towards doing is like, okay, I'm going all in on YouTube. That'll be my main focus. And then being conscious about who I'm making content for.
Right.
And then I actually just came up with like, being able to like capture people along the way, I think is super important as well. So I'm going to, I just started like a newsletter, and that just like is a way for me to get, to show up in people's inboxes, so that like you don't have to rely on the YouTube algorithm to show your video. Now you can just like directly like have that connection with your audience. And then like I have like all these Notion templates that I've created. For anyone listening or watching, I'll probably have it ready. So if you want to check the description, it'll probably be down there. But yeah, this is a fantastic conversation. Thanks for chatting with me. I'm wondering though if there's one thing that you could leave, maybe your audience, my audience, with like a piece of advice. Your audience right now is people, I guess, who want to learn more about Japan, and then for my audience, it's people who are maybe in the film or TV industry and want to make YouTube channels. But like, I guess like what would be like a piece of advice that you would give, or something to help people with this digital world that we're finding ourselves in?
Yeah, no, I've been thinking about this a lot, just life advice that I want for myself. I've been in Japan, I've been in this whole monk mode this past year, and something that I've really learned and resonated with for me is to just stay true to myself as much as I can. Because at the end of the day, no one knows what they're doing in life, right? There's no manual for life. Everyone, and the funny thing is, as a person, you feel like everyone knows what they're doing, and that you're the only one lost. But in reality, everyone is just as lost as yourself. We're all just trying to figure out this crazy thing called life together. So at the end of the day, all you can do is just stay true to yourself and just do what makes you happy instead of trying to follow other people's expectations that they have for yourselves or what you think other people will like. You can just, if you want to be a YouTuber, if you want to be an entrepreneur, if you want to be a director, if that's what you truly want to do, then just do it, just follow that and just stay true to yourself. And that's something that I've realized here in Japan and I've found more confidence in. And that's how I'll be approaching the rest of my life.
That's dope. Yeah, that sounds like such a great advice, and this sounds like such a great experience that you've had in Japan. So, yeah, monk mode. Let's go. Yeah, but thanks, man. I'll put links to Ethan's socials, so go check him out. Subscribe to his YouTube channel. Follow along to his journey. But yeah, appreciate it, and I'll see y'all in the next one. Peace.